Yes, sir. Yes, sir. YouTube, GloYard Gang, podcast listeners all over the only. You already know, man. Just our way of showing thanks to the members of the channel for showing love to the channel in that special way. Normally, when we have an open members only, we have a special guest in the building. So, without further ado, if you guys could do us a favor, get into it, talk about all things NBA here, new, old, debates, hot takes, whatever it is, we talk about it here. Also, too, everybody hit them likes for us today. Help us build them likes ups. Also, too, follow us on Cap and Crown Clips. We post condensed versions of the show on that channel there, so we also can use your help to grow that channel also.
Yes, sir. Let's do this, bro.
All right, man. But before we start, man, let's show some love to the sponsors of the channel.
This I Was Told segment is brought to you by the folks over at FANATICS. FANATICS is the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love the most, including WWE. You can earn fan cash to redeem them in your orders, jersey protection for when your favorite player is traded or changes teams. They also have an unrivaled selection of authentic fan gear and FANATICS exclusives that are only available on the site. So if you need some merch and are interested in helping the channel, scan the QR code on the screen or follow the link.
Yes, sir, man. All right, bro. Let's bring up our guest.
Good morning.
Morning. We got the Kirk Henderson, a Pod Mav in the building. What's up, man?
It is good to be here. It's Friday morning, and that means I am ignoring my job and talking with you guys instead, which is much more fun.
We
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
it.
That's the best thing to do. Know your job. Listen, man, we definitely appreciate you having you on the show, man. A lot to get into, man, with these Mavs, man. I know we had Slightly on the other day. He kind of answered some questions. Now I gotta get your opinion on this, man. I kind of want to start off with this one question, but we do it anyway.
Sure.
Kirk, I gotta ask you this question, man. I know you went on your rants. I know you had your tweets.
Me?
How are you feeling? Oh yeah.
Never.
Oh, yeah. How you feeling about what's it, about 4 months out now? 4 or 5 months? How you feeling, man, after the Luka trade?
I mean, it's still ass. But I will say that in terms of like the basketball we're about to see is going to be so much different than what we've watched for the past 5 or 6 years. And my co-host Josh, if you guys think I'm grumpy, he kind of he likes talking basketball, but to a certain extent, we've ran out of things to talk about. They had gotten to the point where they're a finals team, and then there was a question of whether they were going to ever be able to win. And now just opens up a lot of stuff to talk about, and that's fun. That part of it is really fun, thinking about new things and what sort of weird lineup combinations Jason's kid's going to have to try. So I would say, understanding what's done is done. I am looking forward to the new season.
Okay. Well, then I'll get straight to a question as well. Cooper Flagg, how much about him did you know before being drafted by the Mavericks, and also what is your expectations for him?
So quite a lot. I love the draft, and I mean I love the draft, and it has made me sort of. That's been one element of being a Mavericks fan that's sort of stunk, particularly following like the 2011 title, where the Mavericks just didn't care. I mean, back then they had guys like Dominique Jones and Jay Flight. What was his name?
Mo Ager.
Mo Ager. Yeah, just and just a bunch of dudes that never panned. And when things really bottomed out in 2017, or 2016, the Harrison Barnes year. And the Mavericks ended up being able to draft Dennis Smith. Like that was when I was like, all right, it sucks we're bottoming out, but we're going to be able to get back in this deal. And so I've really been back in it since about then, and that followed guys every year. And I have a couple of guys I play Xbox with that were like, basically NBA draft Twitter guys, the ones that all talk to each other and follow these dudes since they were like 13, 14, which is a bit weird, but it sort of comes with the basketball territory. And I knew about Flag pretty early on because he's just such a unique prospect. I mean, number one, it's right there. White dude prospects in an American level haven't existed in 40 years in a real way. You get the occasional one, like one of my wife's friends was like, is he like Adam Morrison? And I'm like, no, no, this is a new deal. And so man, I knew a lot about him. And what was really exciting is as recently as 2 years ago, he was really seen primarily as a defensive prospect. You're thinking like, I would explain him to people, this is as of 2 years ago, as like a supercharged Draymond Green, like taller, can move. Like I describe him, I've been watching that show Alien Earth, and I describe him as like a xenomorph. Like the dude just appears, and he's playing up in Maine. He's leading these cool teams. They played a tournament down here in Dallas 2 years ago, which I tried to get to go see where, I mean, he's just wrecking the competition. He reclassified. He went in a year early. He should be a freshman in college right now. Yeah. That's the part that so I was really watching him evolve. And then all of a sudden, and you can see this at videos, and so it's 2025 videos in 2022, his shot looks frightening, like really not good. And then all of a sudden he shows up at Duke and he's averaging what is like 18, 19 a game on really good shooting percentages. He seems to have really reworked his shot. There's still a lot of work to do. I know Tim Legler was sort of killing him in summer league for his process, but again, 18 years old. And so watching him morph from a prospect where like this guy can control the game defensively, a Scottie Pippen, Draymond Green kind of really next level defender we spent, I don't know about you guys, but like I felt like a lot of the summer discussion about Flag was his offensive game. And that's just a crazy pivot for 2.5 years going from point A to point B, because he was very clearly number one overall pick. And now we're asking the really fun, tough questions of like, can you build around him, or is he a 1B? And so I was really, really excited that the Mavericks drafted him. I remember I didn't do a live draft like lottery shows, like they're 11th. This isn't it. And so I'm like sitting there at my son's baseball practice, like screaming like a psychopath as no one around me cared. And I'm just like, this is amazing. And he's,
when he got the number one pick.
Yeah. And I don't know about you guys, for the Mavericks in particular, my co-host and I were having earnest conversations where it's like, okay, well, we're contractually obligated to do some of this stuff, but how much longer are we really going to do it? Like, there's no juice. The once Kyrie tore his ACL, it was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Yep. And now we're back up in a way to where I'm excited to talk about the team.
Man, that's a good point you made there. Cause we said we had those same conversations, man. It just felt like the energy was gone, Well, with you saying that, let me ask you this, Kirk. So you see generational with Cooper Flag?
I do. We got so used to Luka's running hot, constantly running his mouth, showcasing, being a really just a showman. Flag runs cold. Flag is a killer, and I think the fact, if he hadn't gone to that Team USA practice summer of 2024, where he basically got to play with all the guys that went and won the Paris Gold. If that hadn't happened, I don't know if I'd feel this way. But all those guys coming out of that practice saying he could play with us right now has made me just feel astonishingly bullish, because there's no reason for them to say it if it's not true. And it included guys who are still who are still kind of trying to break over. You know, Tatum is obviously a top 7 NBA player, but he's still breaking it, I think, into the mainstream of a guy that fans would say, okay, this is a top guy.
Thanks.
And he has no reason to lift anyone else up. And even he's just like, this guy's special.
He is
and that, yeah, that's true. Those Duke forwards are legion. There's a lot of them.
Yes,
that's who they compare him to, Kirk.
Yeah,
I think it's fantastic comparison. I wonder how tall he ends up being. I mean, Tatum is a condor. Like you watch him on television, and you're like, all right, that guy's big, and then you see him in person, and he's the same height as Tyson Chandler.
Yeah,
like he's enormous.
He's about 7 feet almost. Yeah,
right. And so it's like I wonder, Flag 6'9", and those 3 inches, maybe in a game-to-game basis, don't make a difference. But in terms of when you're talking whether a guy's a star or like an all-star, or let's just say top 10, top 15 versus top 5, that's where like the size things start to matter. I really do think he could be something, but his path is nowhere near as clear as like. Do you guys remember the first 3 or 4 games of Luka's second season?
Yeah.
Where we're all like, what is happening? I think Flag's path is going to be much more traditional, where year 4, we're like, does this guy have it kind of thing, where he slowly kind of levels up. And so I could see it, but I don't think it's as clear cut, just because the way the league goes now, you sort of have to be a primary ball handler to really be a superstar. And Jokic, he's a center, but he's their point center. He's kind of the outlier. Everybody else has the ball.
Okay. Yeah. Let me go to team ball, I guess. How high, what are your expectations for the Mavericks this year? And do you expect Kyrie Irving to play a bunch of games and maybe be at 100% at some point?
So let's start with the Kyrie one first. My expectation is built on Kyrie not playing this year. Okay. He has never been a fast returner from injury. He is setting the expectations low. And I don't want my personal expectations and enjoyment to bank on something that is very difficult to predict in terms of returning from ACL stuff. Like I don't want, and I don't think it's fair to him. He has surpassed and made me a believer, which is really ridiculous considering if you heard how I talked about him in 2023. And I don't want that. I don't want to be like, God, we need Kyrie. So understanding that, I still think the Mavericks have a pretty high floor. I expect them to win like 38 to 42 games, but I also don't expect them to win more than like 48 games. Like I just don't see how, because I think they get off to a really good start because the schedule's sharp and soft.
I heard you.
And then and those first 20 games are going to be healthy. Then, at a certain point, injuries are going to kick in, and then they just kind of get. I know. Well, it's a season. You expect something from somebody, but Lord knows they have enough forwards to be able to make it through. And I think that the January, February schedule looks frightening. Now, a lot of things could change between then. You start beating teams up, and all of a sudden you feel good, and then you might start playing outside of yourself, in a good way. So I could see some paths to where they could be really good, but I still see kind of play in as where I expect them to be.
So you don't think? I'm sorry, bro.
That's going to follow up on. Yeah, it's going to follow up on that too. When you said the play in, so. Who do you have in front of? Who do you have 16s already kind of in your mind? Who you got in front of the Mavericks?
Oh, geez, I would need to go look at the standings. Let me go do that, because that's actually a really good question.
I'll run through 6 right now. I think the 6 that me and Relle have as far as the top guys. We have the
OKC other than the Mavs, we have the Mavs top 6.
Yeah, but OKC Thunder, the Denver Nuggets, the Houston Rockets.
Yep.
What else do we have there, Relle? The Clippers. The Clippers there now. In the top 6.
Yeah, I think it might be a Clippers, maybe
Lakers as well in the top 6 eventually, and maybe we had the Mavericks as well. So I think it was the Mavericks and the Lakers, or Minnesota.
I see Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota.
I see players are capable of playing really good basketball, massive teams. You know, you get like I expect the Blazers to take a good step, but not a great step. Obviously, till the Mavericks beat them on opening night and Lively once again punks Wemby. It's just a tradition unlike any other that nobody outside of Dallas wants to appreciate. There's just like it's just going to be this jumble of teams that, and you can see it in last year's standings where it's like 6 through 9 are all pretty close. 6, 7, 8 are pretty close. And then 9 through 12 are really close together. And that's sort of what I expect this year too. It's the Clippers are built for war for regular season. I just think they're going to chew up regular season wins. The Lakers are obviously going to be very, very Luka dependent, but the floor with Luka seems to be like 45 games. If he's playing 67 games or so, and that's where I just sort of the Rockets. I hate how good the Rockets are going to be. It's gonna make me sick. Amin Thompson is just he's so good.
Yep.
Everybody, people were like, I just don't see what KD is going to bring to the Rockets, and I'm like, KD is the cheese on the hamburger. You don't need it, but it makes the hamburger better. Yeah. It's going to be fun, is what I think. And I don't know. Specific ways. If AD and Flag handle the ball a lot and it works, then there's more there. I remember the AD Giannis comparisons that sometimes happen, or complaints or whatever that you see sometimes on social media, where you see Lakers fans back in the day saying, well, if AD ever got to play like Giannis, he'd be amazing. Like, well, AD's a former point guard before he grew 19 inches when he was a junior or whatnot. He can handle the rock. Does he want the contact? Does he want that sort of, and I would love to see him come out this year and be that offensive initiator and attack off the dribble more and play make. Like, he's a good underrated passer, and if he taps into certain things that he's not done in other situations, maybe that floor is higher than I think. I'm just, it's like the Kyrie of it all. Like, he's the special sauce that makes everything go because he's that special of a ball handler and kind of a secondary guy. And without him, I have a hard time seeing it.
I feel you.
Yeah, because
go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, yeah, because you're gonna have to divvy some of that responsibility because you don't want to put that all on D-Lo, man.
No,
you do not want that to be D-Lo. So you want to divvy it, like you said, to maybe an AD, a Cooper Flag, a Najee Marshall, some guys like that. So
I'm higher on him though, I think, because you guys got D-Lo. You got Exum back, correct? He's going to be there.
He's the 16th guy right now, and I don't know. I've not done the math on how that works.
But you got Cooper Flag. I'm thinking, can Cooper Flag, with the prospect that he is, the generational carryover that he's getting as far as him being that guy, plus D'Angelo Russell, can that at least make up for a Kyrie Irving? And I'm thinking, like, I mean, it should be if Cooper is. My thing with generational guys, Kirk, I think you should see some generational right from the get-go. Like, something, it should be something you could point at and say, you know, that he has that, like, this is going to be this guy and this is what he's going to be doing. And the way they talk about Cooper, if he is that guy, like, they're talking about him on that level of a Zion, you know, a LeBron, that type of number one pick. So if he's that guy, him plus D'Angelo Russell, you guys get an AD healthy with that front court and all, the wings, the defense and all. I don't see why you still couldn't be right there. Like that, I think the guard play will hurt you more in a half court game as far as the playoffs. Like, once you get there, you're going to miss Kyrie Irving if D'Angelo Russell can't be that guy. Like, that's when you're going to really worry about D'Angelo Russell. But you guys have enough as far, your front court is still like the best in the NBA. Like, your overall guys is probably the best in the NBA. And if you really take advantage of that and guys stay healthy, you guys should be nice.
Well, I keep making this joke because it makes me laugh, and that's why I keep making it. Is in like the opening scenes of Ocean 11, Brad Pitt is teaching all these Hollywood kids how to play poker. Mm-hmm. And eventually he starts yelling at them and he's like, you can't have, 3 pairs in a 5-card game. And another Topher Grace stands up and goes, guys, all reds. Mm-hmm. And that's how I feel about the Mavericks lineup, because they just have so many forwards. And before I saw the schedule, I was pretty frustrated what's going to happen. But within the first 20 games, I mean, they play the Wizards twice, they play San Antonio, they play some bad teams. And I think they can really, tap into kids' desire to get funky early on. And if they play some 5 forward lineups, who cares? Because some of the teams they're playing against aren't going to be able to score on them.
Yep.
And so I think if they were to get up enough, let's say they start 20 games has been historically very predictive for making the playoffs. So let's say they start off like 13.
Not for the Mavs though, Kirk. Not for the Mavs, because you know the Mavs.
You're not kidding. The seasons kids coached as early as best seasons, and the seasons they've been the worst.
Yep.
But let's say they start 13-7 and they're in a pretty good place by Christmas. Maybe they are just able to sort of ride it the rest of the way. And you know, they suffered through some hard times. I mean, the talking point that I've keep going to is Flag played 60-ish summer league minutes and he had 3 turnovers, including like that first game. That dude from San Antonio was like dry humping him, and I think he had 1, maybe 2. And if they're able to keep their turnovers down and play the pace the way Kid wants, because I mean they're not going to be a fast break team without the ball handling. I don't think.
D'Angelo Russell, man, Najee Marshall, maybe. I mean,
and that's Cooper's strength.
Yeah, Cooper likes to run.
See, and him in the that's why I don't really want him to have the ball, because him in the open court running is a terror. That's where I've been sort of like, I don't want to like downplay it, but it's just him bringing the ball up doesn't do anything for me, because him running without the ball, catching it on the break, and making decisions like in the very first summer league game, I think the game-winning bucket came off a fast break play where he catches the ball in transition and makes the right pass, and it's like that is what excites me. That not him dribbling the ball.
Whoa! So hold on, you want to go against your coach, putting him at point guard? Is what you're
yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
But that's not. But that's just because. But I don't think they have any other choices. You know,
right.
Point Clay. I really do like Brandon Williams. He's pretty exciting. Nimhart, though, I saw him in person. 5'10" is a generous listing, and I don't know how. I mean, granted, if you're playing in front of all 6'9" guys, maybe you can get away with it, and it's particularly in the regular season. So, I mean, there's a lot of options. This is, goes back to the very first question. Like, there's so many weird questions to be answered. So it should be, it might not always be fun, but I think it'll always be weird.
What's your level of, I guess, faith in PJ Washington this year? Seeing that he kind of struggled, and PJ's my guy. He kind of struggled being away from the 4 last year when they played him to 3. I felt like his game didn't really translate to being a 3 as much. Do you worry now that they have AD? AD is going to play some 5. We talked about that with slightly, but he doesn't want to play exclusively the 5. That's been his thing. If he's going to be playing the 4, then they're going to have Cooper probably playing the 3 a lot. So that means PJ's coming off the bench is probably, the 3 or the 4 or whatever. Does that worry you any?
It doesn't worry me. He is probably my game to game before like Flag was drafted. By the end of last year, he was probably my favorite player. Because I really feel like his game evolved last year in the sort of way where if he does accept a 4-year extension for the Mavericks, I think they're getting a steal.
Yes.
I think open market PJ makes $30 million a year, not 22.
Yep.
So I wouldn't say I'm worried, but I think his play will end up frustrating us, but I don't think it will be his fault. I think he's going to be a victim of circumstance. So if the Mavericks don't play up to the expectations which they've set, that's where things get very interesting, where it's like, okay, do you move on from AD? Who do you move on from? How do you make changes to this team? I hope they don't. PJ's just the guy that I think on this roster, other than Flag, still has so much growth to be done in his game.
I agree. And I'll give you a follow-up question with that then, since you brought it up. I asked this slightly as well. Would you ever think about...
He's going to ask that. I was going to ask it.
With the timeline that you guys have, we talk about it a lot as far as the Mavericks are kind of stuck in 2 timelines right now. When they made the move for Luka and all was for win right now. You got AD, you got Kyrie, you got Clay. But now that you got Cooper, you now have that like 10-year window, whatever you're saying. Like you have this guy, so you can have your PJs, your Najees, your Daniel Gaffers, all the 25-year-old guys. You have the young guys. Would there ever be a situation where you would think maybe right now is the most value you can get from Anthony Davis, that you would possibly move Anthony Davis? We already know PJ Flag could be a starting power forward for a finals team. We've seen it already. would you possibly get the most value to possibly get your picks back, get your future set by moving on from AD?
I'm
a guard.
I'm a burgeoning AD hater. More because of role than him. I would say, it was March. I was up in, where were we? Tim McMahon came on our show to promote his book. And I told him on that show, and I was like, the Mavericks need to trade him right now. And he looked at me like I was crazy. He's like, the Mavericks aren't going to do this. Like, they're going to, this is who they're invested in. He's like, they're not doing this. And I just think based off of if Nico Harrison believes that having a really earnest to goodness supermax player can limit your team, maybe it was Luka, maybe it's just the concept of paying somebody $1 gazillion a year. Anthony Davis he's starting a 3-year, $180-something million contract. Like, they're a second apron team with like one more move. Yep. So there's both financial reasons and then play style reasons where I think you can pretty easily talk yourself into saying, okay, let's see if we can move Anthony Davis and get as much as we can for him and sort of reset this timeline. I don't really believe in the 2-timeline deal. I don't want to tell anyone how to be a fan. I just, my expectations are not championship. Like, you have to be a top 3 team to win a championship. And the Mavericks, I think, they're just so oddly constructed. I don't see how you get there without moving around some of the pieces, which currently makes you interesting. So I would trade him. I really would. But I'm trying not to beat that drum when I'm talking about the Mavericks on my shows and in my stuff, because no one wants to hear me constantly dunk on them. Like, every now and again, it's fine, but it's like, it's August. We should be hopeful about the teams. And I tend to agree with that. But if I'm GM, that's what I do. So
let me ask you a question then, Kirk. If you don't feel like they're a championship team, what do they need to be a championship team? In your opinion, like, what piece do they need? What piece they don't need? Like, what's your opinion on that?
The dude who's a freshman at Kansas this year, Darren, I think is his name, Darren Peterson. I just need I need that penetrating guard.
Yeah.
I don't want isolation heavy basketball, but I do want a primary playmaking guard who can run the offense. And I think D'Lo can hold the fort, but I think he's best served as a secondary guard.
Yes.
So, like, running with Kyrie sounds awesome. Like, they're, even if I consider Kyrie kind of best served as a secondary playmate, those two together, you figure it. So it's just, I think they really need that table setter guy. And right now they're also just old. So it's even with 2 very young guys, they're kind of an older team. And I think the Nuggets saw their championship window. Their championship, nobody really talks about this, but their championship was the end of their title window, not the beginning. Because it is
okay.
I was told.
Think about it.
I was told.
They lost to the Lakers in the bubble, and that Nuggets team was good.
Yeah.
And then they end up winning it eventually, but because of the way the salary cap goes, you have to hit every one of your draft picks. And these bastards in Oklahoma have done
saying it.
And same with Franklin and the Celtics did the same thing, but then all of this, it was like the
$1 billion.
Yeah,
I think it became $1 billion at one point.
It's like basically like the Dodgers payroll. Yeah. And it's like, that's not, and I hate that, because being a basketball fan should not require an accounting degree. And like, you have to think about these things. It's so awful. So to answer your question about the Mavericks contention status, I think they're kidding themselves. And I think that I have a theory that Nico in particular does not value ball handling that much, and that he has been trying to rebuild the 2020 Lakers without LeBron. Only
who was a ball handler.
Who is a ball handler, exactly. So it's like,
okay.
That's where I just sort of see this going, where, maybe they could find themselves in like 4, 5, like 4, 5, 6 range, depending on how the things break. But past that, you mentioned it earlier, the playoffs are where those ball handling woes are just gonna scream at them.
Do you bring back Spencer Dinwiddie to play with D'Lo?
Oh, Spencer.
I'm
those
kidding.
Two
you
loved each other, didn't they?
The Nets to the West, huh?
I mean, he made the best out of him. You asked about that other guy beside D'Lo until Kyrie gets there. I mean, that's what Spencer Dinwiddie showed off. He kind of don't even get the credit for that. as far as helping them get to the playoffs and all. But
Spencer, can you believe that Spencer played like I think he was either first or second among games and minutes for the Mavericks last year.
He was first, I think.
He was wild. Like,
that's again Jason Kidd. I feel like setting people up to fail. Like not as far as setting Spencer up to fail, but setting the fan base up to dislike somebody. Like I feel like when you keep using Spencer, we called him Spencer Doncic on the show because he was out there doing too much as far as like trying to be Luka Doncic.
So
he was literally trying to be Luka.
This is a very specific ask. Do you remember the first games after Luka was traded?
Mm-hmm.
The Mavericks were all of a sudden running offense. Clay's running around like a lunatic, getting screens, hitting buckets, and it's like, where has this been?
Yep.
Why are you letting Spencer play like Luka Doncic through a fax machine 6 times?
Yep.
Like it's not.
We tried to blame it. Maybe it was on injuries and all because then they got injured and maybe they went to Spencer. But I don't know. It's just sometimes we just question what Jason Kidd has the guys doing. It's just always. I feel like at times it's always like he's doing I don't know extra homework or he's doing his stuff he should be doing in the preseason during the season. It's like why are we into game number 60 now? And you're still doing, you feel me? You're still doing an experiment,
bro. Then the playoffs, everything we asked for him to do in the play, he does in the playoffs.
Yeah, he waits for the playoffs, and that really kind of hurt guys like Luka and all getting MVPs. I feel like in a way,
because where they at, because
it's like you play around but then you take
all
off
4 seasons he's been coach. You look at the second and third quarters of the season, so roughly games 20 to games 60, and they play like crap every single year because. The regular season is a grind. I don't think he wants to overcoach, but Lord, that team has 35 assistants. Somebody's got to be doing something because the team's general, like Luka wasn't there this year. We can't blame it on Luka's disinterest, even though I think that was part of it in previous seasons. But now they've got to push through these off, the times in the schedule where it's like the dog days of the NBA. So
I agree.
Yeah, that's where the youth comes in, right? You gotta inject some type of energy or something, man, throughout the season. Because listen, these guys like Anthony Davis, these guys been playing the league for 13 years. After a while, it's like, okay, yeah, we're in, February. Let's just get through this so we can get to the end of the season or whatever, right? So a lot of that has to do with it, but I don't know, man. It's just Kirk, you kind of got me thinking about some things now, man, because I think the one thing I think we all can agree on is the ball handling is important for this team. And I know with D-Lo, I know a lot of people. It's funny to me because I know fans they like to do this, man. When you don't have this player, they can think of everything bad about the player. Then all of a sudden you get the players like, you know what? He actually was
agree. Yeah,
the best thing ever. Like, yeah,
they do it with AD as well. It's like I still remember what we talked about with AD before we got AD, and now it's like I have to forget who AD was or what I thought about AD because he was on the team, and it's like I can't forget. I still feel the same way about Anthony Davis.
Well, it's I let's just say my fandom with the Mavericks roughly coincides with Dirk. Though I am a big Michael Finley guy. Love Finley. Man. During that time, it's like 98 forward, the Mavericks have had one year where like Jason Terry was the primary point guard, and that didn't work out. They went and got Devin Harris almost immediately. 1 year, and then you go through it. Even in like even after the post-championship years, they like there's the terrible, obviously Mike James, Derek Fisher year, but those guys were good point guards. They just didn't work within the team. And then it's like you got even people make fun, but like Ray Felton was a functional point guard. He was on the outside. This is the first time since that Terry year where I'm like, gosh, the Mavericks really don't have an actual point guard. That because D'Lo is an excellent scorer. He is when that boy gets going, he is fun to watch. And I think we will have games like this where we're like, the various Twitter accounts that have D'Angelo Russell stand in their title will be yelling at every one of us because he's just that talented. I mean, wasn't he number 2 overall pick?
Yep.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. He is that kind of pedigree of guy, but it's just once you get to the NBA, it's a matter of small distinctions. But he's just not the kind of delivery system guy that has existed on the teams in the past. I think if the Mavericks are good, this will be kids being like, see, I am a good coach, guys. I am not just a playoffs coach. I'm a regular season coach. That's sort of my optimist view.
Okay. He proved it to me a little bit last year, I feel like, with the situation. But I have two names I want to throw at you, Kirk, that's on the team. Jaden Hardy and what's his name? Dark Lively. How do you feel as far as Jaden Hardy? Do you feel like he is maybe on his last leg with the team? Like, what is his role you think Jason Kidd is trying to get him to be? And is that the right role? And then I'll ask you with Derek Lively, are you one of the folks that think he's definitely going to be the starter for the team, even seeing what he did after Lucan, or now that you see that you've extended Gafford as well, that he may never be, that guy that we may thought he was going to be? Maybe Gafford is better than him.
Ooh, so Hardy, I think the 2024 playoffs was so funny because that was where you saw his complete fearlessness in a situation.
Facts.
I mean,
repeatedly.
It works against him a lot of the time, but it didn't then. Now the Mavericks don't have a ton of space, and I worry because he can shoot the ball. Good three-point shooter. I think if he was to have like a dribble count, like if you dribble more than 3 times, you got to pass the ball. He would be, kind of like the high school coach stuff. I think that he could really be something. I worry for him this year because I think when he's going to be put in, and the deck's going to be stacked against him to do something good. And when that happens, I think think of the movie Replacements where the wide receivers talk about like the concept of quicksand in sports.
Mm-hmm.
I think he really gets into quicksand pretty quickly. His confidence is always there. He never really seems to be shaken. He always has like very like tough guy body language, which I appreciate. But I don't see where they're going to be able to put him in situations where he succeeds. And maybe he figures something out. Maybe he's committed to, catch and shoot stuff. But the drives from him are hilarious. Like he just does weird stuff on drives. Also, I know for a fact that defense is really what gets him killed because he just loses his man. And Kidd can't handle that. I think he's okay with offensive mistakes, but if you don't know how to guard or don't know how to play within the team structure, that's what eats you up.
Say Christian Wood.
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting comp. For the mindset. The Lively thing is a really fun question because I think last year you have to just say that's a lost year.
Okay.
Just all in all. Obviously Luka out, obviously still dealing with repercussions from his mother. And then the ankle and then just the injuries. We were sold a player. Part of why he shot up the draft board late in 2023 was because of his what do you call it in football? More multiple. Like he seemed to be able to do lots of different stuff.
Yeah.
And with
Swiss
the
Army knife.
Right. Yeah. And so with the Mavericks, I don't feel like we've gotten to see that.
No.
There was a game. Was it the comeback against Oklahoma City in 2023 that fell short?
Yeah, what was it, 30-point comeback?
And I feel like he was a huge part of that comeback where he was getting the ball in short roll situations. Dunking. Evolution. Did we see that last year at all?
No.
It
was partially because of his body as well.
That's right. That's what I think too. And so I'm still pretty high on him, to answer your question. But they've got to give him opportunities and put him in situations to thrive. Like Davis, he's a good passer. He's a willing passer.
Yeah.
So some of the stuff I hope they're able to install that takes advantage of that could be a lot of fun. Do you remember Summer League after he was drafted, he could not set a screen and we're like, well, it's going to be a long year.
Yeah.
And then that Oklahoma City game we just referenced is the same season. I mean, This guy's a Pokemon. He's evolving at a rapid rate.
Talking about the white power screens to keep the white power in the game, and all saying he was a great screener. So I remember that, but you're right. They have to get away with great. To me, the best center in Maverick history just about being there 2 years. Like that's crazy. But
James Johnson.
Okay, but and him. So I don't want to, especially with he didn't get a chance to show off, but Daniel Gafford showed out last year as far as in the regular season. So you got to get Lively doing more things so he can.
Well, and I like remember some old Mavericks, and you start going through like season box scores, and most centers in the NBA level, and if you're trying to get 48 minutes out of your center position, splitting these guys somewhere within that range, depending on who's doing from these guys, to where you got over. They don't need to overplay anyone. You know, my friend SJ insistent that he will never be allowed to shoot threes within the Mavericks offense. My head tends to agree. My heart, Clay, you got D'Lo, you got Flag, Najee Marshall. He shoots that thing like a lead balloon. You don't know where it's going. Him, like I need to see it. I want to see more from him because I really, you know, the NBA basketball. He's not going to be. Can't even think. The Clippers center, who is like shockingly
Is one of the best centers in the league now.
Is that a thing for 8 years from now for Lively? Could he be like that?
Yeah.
I don't see why not. The talent's there.
Do you worry about it with the contract? So that's why when this season was last season was over, I thought you gotta get both of them. So with that being said, and they're not old guys. Like PJ and Gafford aren't old guys themselves. So don't you get to a point where getting towards that contract year, don't you have to start like everybody isn't going to be for the cheap or for value, right? Like somebody's going to want their money at some point. That's all extension. And if we got him playing off the bench and he doesn't have a complete role as far as being a starting center, he may have one day, and especially if we're not winning else and win, now that you guys gave Gafford that contract. So I know everybody wants to be buddy and all, and that's awesome. But at some point, feel me, you want to get your time and your shine at some point. So does that worry you at all?
Not to kick the dead, but the Mavericks a couple of years ago rolled out this guy who had like been with the team for their cap guy, and that was like, and I remember being like, ugh. And since then they stole a cap guy from Brooklyn for the kind of team that they are. But again, I don't love the accounting nature of this. This would be year 3 wouldn't kick in until the 2027-28 season. And that's like the last year of the AD. What about Gafford's and how that went over? I think they suss these things out. Like talented guys tend to go, and you know, he doesn't justify a rookie max extension. So that's part of it too. Now I know the rookie max extension it's not a ridiculous percentage of the cap, but he's only played 100 NBA games or so right now. Unless but you haven't shown it to us yet. I mean, that's what happened to Steph Curry.
I think 2 things to follow over, and then Ray, you can have your question. One, the Lively thing. Do you think the Chet Holmgren may not be saying, hey, I'm on that level yet, but if we're talking about the big 3 of that draft or that year, because Chet is in my Lively as far as the 3 centers and all that. So if they're getting that money, he may be like, I want to get my money. And the second part going to be getting that entire max. Yes. Everything goes right as far as the rookie max. So, like I said, that's more of the question of decision of what timeline they want to
Well, and I think that happens pretty quickly this year.
Any moves?
Well, that's where I've been sort of beating the steady drum of, like, as much as Harrison frustrates that he hasn't walked back some of the expectations he's set because he has a free get out of jail card. It's Kyrie Irving, and we have that they're going to push forward. If they're not where they want to be by the trade deadline, I think they have to make some hard choices in that extension. I really do think he's going to. I don't know why, I just do.
Yeah, he gonna.
That means that I think next season. So, and you cannot, teams cannot operate over the second apron. It is a punitive, the two teams, or that the two sides eventually get rid of. But they just have to make that choice happen between now and February.
You have anything?
Yeah. This is why I kind of think we was kind of asking about the whole AD part of it. So you really feel like they're gonna have to make a move because you don't want to be over that second threshold twice. You know what I mean? Like you want to kind of stay away from that or whatever because you only need the house, and now you see how they are right now. So, but what do you think though about the? We think there's gonna be some moves this offseason to kind of get back under
in season. I mean, in season. I want to say like a deadline move. I want to say 8 straight seasons, so that predates Nico by something. So I expect them to do something. Based on my earlier comments, I don't want it involved. I love covering younger players. But that aside, I know that's something that is also Harrison doesn't make small moves. They don't, like, even the Dinwiddie move was probably like a move that they made. Everything else is was that in season? That was off season.
I think it was a trade deadline right after the Lucas trade. Remember?
Yes,
Yeah, he did. No. We got him.
Heels
Yeah.
of the Lucas trade.
So that was still part of that. Yeah, I think he made the one major trade has been that KP trade has been a small
I feel
one.
I have no sourcing on this. I don't talk to anyone, but I just can't shake the fact of get KD. I can't.
Let's not discuss that with some mad fans because they don't want to hear that. But
But that's what but now we got Caleb Martin. Hooray.
Oh my goodness, finals experience. But this is my last question. It's another 2-part one for you, Kirk. Appreciate you again. It was something about Nico. If the Mavericks do not have a good year this year, he had a bad year last year because defense wins championships, and they already went through that. If he was to go, that's why I kind of think what you said because he's too stubborn. And to say that he lost, you feel me, the deal, and I think he can't say that because it's kind of that's a major mess up to go by. He should say I messed up and move on, but I don't think he wants to associate that with him. But if they do fail this year, like I think he's on that hot seat where Nico, if the Mavericks don't do well, he may be gone this year. And I forgot my other part, but I remember it.
Because I think Dumont is in for a penny and in for a pound, I guess this is the old saying. But if the negative attention around Harrison continues, that could change things. Because there was one of the Mavs vice presidents of content podcasts, and he essentially came in and said that in his opinion, he felt as if the team on TV money coming in for the local deal did not understand how expensive running a team was. I mean, guys, Jared Dudley sat behind penny pinching in a real way. And so if that starts affecting how much money the team makes, the thing about Harrison is he is like me when I was 17 years old. He just can't not say the thing when he's that fully. He really does. I respect that. Kind of makes me insane, but I at least appreciate answering your question where if things go sideways, I do maybe see that as a mea culpa to the fan. One of my friends says, if you're going to fire your coach, you better know who you're bringing in. Otherwise, it's not going to get any better. And so they would need to have something figured out. He has a very thankless job. The guy who ran the Kraus, is that right? Was that the
the Bulls?
I don't, too bad. Sorry, GMs. You get paid a lot of money to put together a basketball team.
I think just do your job. That's how the players are the players.
You kind of just hit the nail on the head of why I started doing this, because I was so sick and tired of just now all teams do this. I mean, we're watching the Cowboys do it right now. Jerry Jones is just a master messy. But you think about a lot of the teams, you know who the Portland GM is? Do you know who the Charlotte?
I ask it all the time.
It's like.
Yep, I agree. And I remember my last piece of my question as well. Klay Thompson. Do you think Klay Thompson for reasons as well? He was kind of an extension of Luka Doncic, especially even last year when they were playing him. They were playing him so well attached to Luka when Luka was there at first. And I think things just went. I know he's at a cheap value.
I love watching him shoot. I love watching him make decisions on the floor. But considering he's elements to his contract, I could see him finding a reason to move him. Somebody on my Twitter timeline just name, and we could get the Stallion Clay.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Clay the Stallion jerseys. My wife would own one. It seems there's some players which are just joys to follow. And that dude just loves being.
If I lose Clay, oh my God. Go ahead, bro.
To my Clay question, one question, probably my last question, man. Who you guys starting lineup? I know Kyrie probably not gonna play
this. This is so hard. I think that you have to start Clay for his own. The ESPN, I just checked the depth chart. They don't have Russell on the list, which means they're just not up. But so that made me laugh. So I would go Russell, Thompson, and then Davis, since he wants to play forward, and give me Gafford.
Knew you were gonna say that.
Lively was a starter after game like 7 or 8. It's fine. Challenge him again.
After came back and said, hey, I'll give you these 25 and 10s. After, like, don't get me wrong, Kirk. I was on this show. I got the Lively signed jersey, like, I love Kirk Lively, but shout out to Johnny the second half of the year as far as the injuries and his play style and all. He wasn't giving as much as far as especially counting numbers. It didn't everything look may have just been a sophomore slump. And they were starting to say he was injury prone. I don't think he's that far. I think it's just little. He needs to get his body into little nicks and bruises. No, he did. Did he have a surgery though? I just heard.
And so that's not his fault.
I don't know. Messed up by the mask, man. It's crazy. I know they supposedly got rid of that. Didn't he get rid of the training strength
guy or by the NBA like player association thing. He was like a football guy. That makes me feel good, doesn't it?
Listen, I don't really got anything else, King. Unless you got something else.
Show love to Playback. Thank you to our friends over at Playback for this segment. Pause. If you're tired of the national media and the annoying ways they sometimes cover sports and other events, we cover new and old school basketball, wrestling, and geek culture. And just recently, we've added boxing, mixed martial arts, anime, and even video gaming. So if you have time and you're busy, then check out some of our replays while you're at it. Another special shout out to our favorite at Playback.
Yes, sir. Let's get to these questions and comments, man.
Sponsored by True Classic.
Classic today. A young man came in right when the doors opened and said he had a job interview in just 30 minutes. The challenge, or so he thought, he had about $150 to work with. Now, in most places, that's a fancy shirt, maybe some nice socks. But at True Classic, when you add more, you save more. Our 4-way stretch chinos. Not only did I set him up with one of our white button-down shirts, I even helped him complete the look with one of our coach's jackets. All for just $130. So he found his fit, looked great for his interview. That's true value.
Shout out to DP. Yeah,
True Classic shirt right here.
hey, look at them shows.
And that is going to get purchased in my home because my child destroys his clothing.
Oh, yeah.
And they're gonna be
Tyler says, good morning, fellas. What up, Tyler? Appreciate you.
what up, Tyler?
I see my baby's in the house too, Queen. Guess you're trying to Larry's in the house saying, what's good, fellas? What up, Larry?
These are all members of the channel.
Yes. Johnny B's in the house. Come on, Johnny B. Because the Queen, man. What's good? I don't know. Yeah, just in general. But hopefully she'll be done and we both be growing our hair back soon, Johnny B. Said this admirable. Appreciate you, Johnny B. Appreciate you guys. And this will be a short comment because he said, yeah, I know them both. And that's it. Everybody's talking to each other.
Click on that thumbs up right there. You a hater, bro.
Sorry.
Listen, y'all, we definitely appreciate everybody, man. Rocking with us on another episode.
Yes.
West Bulls every Monday and every Wednesday evening, y'all. If y'all want to join us here, man, for All NBA Talk. Also, too, if you want to become a member of the channel, like man, join us here for All NBA Conversations for the members. We have shows every Friday morning like this. We normally be private shows for the members, but we have followers. Or just say follow me. Shout out to BA, shout out to Big J and my cuz on Cuz We Geek News, Superman News. That man, I watched that yesterday. Well, we're not gonna talk about that yet. We usually wait till the whole entire season. Some
I made
things
my wife watch Blue-Eyed Samurai.
watch that too. I need to watch that too.
You know,
Man. Follow us over there on Cuz We Geek. We talk about all those type of things over there, y'all. And also too, man, I forgot y'all follow us over there. We had the condensed version of the show on that channel. King, is there anything else I'm forgetting?
follow me on We Coming Sunday. We'll talk about the upcoming wrestling event. I think it's Clash in Paris. We'll also have some boxing news with Tank, myself, BA, Queen, Travis, and sometimes Devin over there. Make sure to share this show if you can help us get to our next goals over there. Everybody know about what you do. I know we didn't talk about the what is it? Mavs.
Yeah.
Moneyball. Jeez.
So if you like content we like delivered in the way we like these days, and so if you still like reading stuff during the season at Mavs Moneyball writing, if you actually like writing, reach out to me because we give people a place to write. And the summer's been kind of a mess. That is what it is. I recently joined this new endeavor called Offsides, and if you follow me on Instagram, really questioning why Cooper Flag decided to grow a goatee, I need to know. He looks ridiculous. And then I just did one. In the 1990, that was fun, man. I'd forgotten that he played 83 games one regular season. Like, just Finn was. But I just, it's the Mavericks are a fun organization. I like talking about basketball. Sometimes I don't really know what I'm talking about, but that's very stream of conscious.
I'm one of the biggest Michael Finley fans of all time. King already knows. He picks on me all the time about that. I literally had
Panda Hank has this 15-minute compilation. I watch it when I'm having kind of a bad day, because it's like, oh yeah, I remember when Finley would just decide he was going to dunk on dudes with the other older Mavericks. Oh, good times.
The reigns of Dirk. That was always my thing when I watched Finley. I started watching around the time Dirk was drafted and all, so I knew Dirk was that guy. Like against the later on. The Phoenix, not the Phoenix Suns, the Sacramento Kings when they had Nash, all three of them, and I'm just like, shot, and I'm like, no, not Finley, he's not the guy, no, but I have no animosity towards Michael Finley. Michael Finley was my guy, but he just, I know Relle.
Listen, y'all, we definitely appreciate it. Like I said, man, follow us here on hit that subscribe button, Rick. Here on YouTube, follow him also. You see his name under his handle under his name. Follow him on Twitter and all the socials. And listen, it is your boy Relle. Got King in the building. We got our Kirk. Follow us here. What was I say? Same